extinguishers from the building here. Two of them are from the hallway and one is from the art room. What do you notice right away about these other extinguishers? Yeah, they're smaller. So I want you to quick at one of these three small extinguishers, figure out what classes of fire it'll put out. Go ahead, take a look. Okay, what classes will they put out?
A, B, and C.
A, B, and C. Almost, not everyone, but almost every extinguisher in our schools is an ABC extinguisher. Because we don't know what kind of fire we're going to encounter. Find the rating on here. How many A, how many B? Found it? Okay. You guys found it? Did you guys find yours?
It's right next to me.
Okay. So let's start in the back group here. What's the rating on yours?
3A, 40B, 10C.
So theirs is 3A, 40BC. Keep that in mind. What's yours?
2A, 10B.
2A, 10BC. What's yours? 2A, 10BC. Are those extinguishers all pretty much the same size?
Yeah.
They are. They are different companies sometimes, or different generations of them sometimes. Maybe as we move through into more modern extinguishment material, they can change just the way that they're rated. 2A is worth how much water?
2.5.
2.5 what?
Gallons.
Gallons. You have a 3A, so what's that worth? I know, I'm making you do math. Can anybody help them out? Close.
3.66.
No?
Oh, wait.
Yes.
Yeah, 3.7.
3.75 gallons. So even though they're the exact same size extinguisher, this one's rated a little higher. These are rated at 10 BC. So they'll put out 10 square feet of fire. That's at 40 BC. So 40, that's 4 times as much fire that extinguisher is rated to put out. If you were going to buy a fire extinguisher and you had the choice and they're the same price and one is 2A 10 BC and one's 3A 40 BC, which one would you get?
The 40.
The 3A 40 BC, absolutely. You want to get the most value for your money. How many of you work out in the food service industry somewhere right now? Anybody? Take a peek at your extinguishers when you go to work next time. See what you have. It's kind of good to know. How many have an extinguisher at home?
I have one in there.
Okay. Some of you might have one and don't know it because it's buried somewhere. Are they going to do a lot of good underneath the sink?
No.
No, you need to have them where they're noticeable because if an emergency happens, you're not going to think real clearly.
And check them. Like when we did our training last time, I went home and checked mine and it was way outdated. So check them.
Ours is probably extremely outdated because our house is like about 100 years old.
A lot of times what we'll find is people may have an extinguisher at home, and when they went to the store, wherever they went to get it, they kind of, oh, it's pretty cheap, I'll get that one. And they didn't know what they were buying. And a lot of people in their homes have a BC extinguisher, and it's not an ABC. So if their trash can starts on fire, is it going to do them any good? No, it's not. Now here's my next question I asked. The littler extinguishers that I just brought up, how long will that extinguisher last once you start spraying it? How much time do you have to spray? I'll give you 10-15 seconds to talk in your group, and then I will call on someone in each area to give me what their group thinks. Seconds, minutes, hours, weeks, days. Okay, hold on. All right. What do you think, sir? How long do you think 15 or 20 seconds, he says. Okay, that's what their group thinks. What do you think, dear?
There's
No,
right
you
or
gotta,
wrong
you gotta,
answer
you
right
can't
now.
have, you gotta just have a guess. 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
He's quick, he's like, I'm gonna say what they said. Hey, this is a lot different than the answers I got the other day, where some people were saying a minute to 5 minutes. 20, maybe 25, if we're lucky, out of these. The ones that a lot of people have in their homes are about half of this size, they're 2.5 pounders, you're talking about 8 seconds. Now we also have some 20 pounders here. Those might be 45, 50 seconds that we're gonna be dumping material out of those. So it's gonna give us a little bit longer. This is not, as a lot of people think, a lot of adults even think, I've got 2-3 minutes, I'm gonna, if this is going to put out 10 square feet, that's about the size of this table. Do you think that's gonna last for a minute to put out a fire as big as this table? No. So when you start to look at how many square feet it might put out, you're like, oh, that makes sense. It's gonna go pretty quick. It's gonna go really quick. Before we talk about how these actually function, let's see if we can answer a few questions that I think are gonna probably show up on a ProStart Finder. If we are in here and that garbage can starts on fire, what kind of an extinguisher or what class do we need to be able to put up? A. Now I've got to turn to the expert behind me here. What's something you might be making in ProStart in a frying pan on the stove?
Fried pork.
Fried pork chops. So we're making fried pork chops, and someone maybe added a little too much oil in the pan and got a little overzealous, and we have now flambe of pork chop all over the stove. What class of extinguisher are we going to need for that? B. What would happen if we would dump water on it? It would get bigger. We had this not too long ago at a fire I had to go to. We had some middle school kids cooking some kind of a dessert in a frying pan. They were having fun. Caught on fire. Mom came in, saw it, took a bowl of water, dumped it, spread the fire, caught the blinds, the curtains, burned the countertop. If you don't have an extinguisher and you do have a grease fire on your stove in a frying pan, what are some things we could do to put that out?
Throw it out the window.
I'm gonna go with no, because as you're doing that, it's probably gonna spread. I like your thought process, but no, we don't wanna do that.
We went over this last week.
So
when we
turn
were
off the
frying.
burner if you can reach it, but we gotta be careful. Like on stoves like this, you gotta reach past the fire to get to the burner sometimes. Baking soda, yes. Flour, no. I've had that in some answers. Don't put flour. But baking soda, that's a perfect answer, sir. What else? Oh, you said it. Put a lid on it. For fire to happen, there are 4 things. And it's great because I liken it to a recipe card. There are 3 ingredients for fire and 1 process. What are the ingredients we need for fire? Oh yeah, fuel is one of them. Oxygen is another. Heat. So that's our 3 ingredients. And then we need a chemical chain reaction. That's our process. You know, you're stirring for some recipes, but we're having a chemical chain reaction. So if we can take any of those away, we can put the fire out. If we have a garbage can on fire and we start pouring water into it, well, we might, but what are we going to take away? Heat. So if we take enough heat away, fire goes out. If there is a gas line, say there's a gas line going to a stove or going to a fryer, working at a restaurant, the way their extinguishment systems work in the hoods is if it detects fire, not only does it discharge the extinguishment material, it trips the shunt on the gas valve, it shuts the gas off. If there's no more fuel going to the fire, what's going to happen to the fire? It's going to go out. If we put the lid over the frying pan on the stove, what are we going to start to take away? Oxygen. If we use this ABC extinguisher the dry chemical in there interrupts the chemical chain reaction in a fire. If we interrupt that, what's gonna happen to the fire? It goes out. So we have to take away one of those pieces to put the fire out. As long as we can take away one of them, the fire is gonna go out. Alright, so now we're gonna talk about the K-class extinguisher.